Aloha, friends and neighbors. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. This is Rollin Kona astrologer. We're about to do a show for you. Got lots of stuff to share. And as usual, I probably got more to share than I can fit on the show. But we'll try to get the important stuff. So, here we go. Oh, this is show number 987. 987 weeks I've gone at this. We're going to cover the first week in November. And major notation for you, after you go through the next 10 days, you're going to come up on this new moon. 11/11. It's at 19 Scorpio, which isn't so much important, except the way that it hits Hawaii. It starts the flooding window, and not sure what kind of flooding yet. Still going around and around about it. When I watched what happened in South Carolina, whoa! I had a client there trying to get out for a solar return, and my goodness, poor Ann, she couldn't get out. Everything was flooded and shut down. And anyway, when I saw what happened in South Carolina, and I looked at the symptoms of what I've afraid might happen to our islands, our big island especially, and I was considering a tsunami, heck, a 1,000-year storm, or even a 500-year. Once in 500 years you have a storm. Put so much water in place that it looks like, besides the water gets stronger as you go down the coastline, and it ruins the coastline, whether it comes off the mountain or whether it comes from the ocean. The coastline's in trouble, so that's the first hint for all of you out there who are saying, well, what's Frost talking about? I'm talking about if you live near the coastline, water could come from either direction for the next 6 weeks. And, you saw that, didn't you? Okay, here's the thing. I'm my Hawaiian, I got out some old Hawaiian stuff, and lo and behold, here's a man, this guy is a specialist, a kahuna. There's a lot of them that predicted weather, and what they're doing is they're looking at the way the whirlpools swirl. And he makes a little whirlpool in the bowl and watches it. And they said that when the water turned in one direction with the advent of dirty weather, and it circled the opposite way when the weather was going to be fair. Wow. Now, I've been noticing this myself. It's been a passion of mine for, several years. You notice it going down the sink in the toilet. We have these whirlpools, and sometimes they spin not so well. And I've seen them spin in the sink the other direction. I mean, we're in the northern hemisphere. They're supposed to always spin counterclockwise. At one point, a couple years ago, I invented a cylinder of glass, and I was going to fill it up to a certain point, a graduated cylinder, and then make sure it was completely still, and then open the valve at the bottom. And as this goes down, at some point it forms a whirlpool, and I wanted to know how far down it went before it formed the little tornado, and I wanted to know, what direction it was going, and this was my instrument to find out. Turns out it must have been an old Hawaiian reincarnated, because there were kilos. They were prediction experts, and look at what he's doing. I got to try this and see. Oh, I also going to say pets run away. It's something we discovered kind of independently. And the professional weathermen watched the clouds in the sky and the stars and the planets, of course, and the behavior of birds and animals prior to certain kinds of weather. Oh boy, we even made a graph of the one on Kauai. A guy in California discovered it too. They say that in China they have snake farms because they raise snakes, and they have they keep a whole bunch of these snakes who live in holes in an arena with a wall around it so the snakes can't get out. And when the snakes all pop up and start running around, they know there's going to be an earthquake. Anyway, I was going through all my stuff. Of course, a lot of this is translated by Hawaiians that had to go to Christian schools and stuff, but it says, it's not surprising there was a separation between us, no separation between astronomy and astrology. Thank you. Anyway, I'm sure we can learn an awful lot from Hawaiians. I'm on that path. Hopefully we can share it a bit. Back to what we're doing here. Hey, there's a Mars-Venus conjunction. You know, there's a lot of energy behind the sex. Yes. It's intense during the first part of your week especially. But these two are traveling along pretty carefully together. See, here's the track of Mars. And here's the track of Venus. And first, when you start your week, Venus comes up a little first. And then it gets Marsy. And so first you're attracted to the flower. And then you want to eat it. As you come out of the end of next week, the Mars comes first, and then Venus comes in, and you say, I want to eat that, and then you look at it and say, that's too pretty to eat. Venus comes second. Anyway, moon goes by there Friday, November 7th, as you can see for yourself, and it hits Jupiter first, which means a big party. Now, when you look at the big pattern, here's the sun. It's moving from 7 to 17 Scorpio that first week in November. And, you know, when the sun starts at 7 degrees, it trines Neptune. And here's the privileged people. Here's the priest, artist, doctor, professors. You know, and then as you go towards the middle of your next week, the sun sextiles Pluto. Here's policing. Here's guns. I just heard that some university is going to tell all the professors and the students they can carry concealed hand weapons. Eek! How far do you take this Pluto insanity? But the other thing about this is, I mean, Neptune's in cahoots with Pluto. And you're going to see a lot of that next week. And we've also got this problem of Uranus. Because back in the middle of last month, and on October 13th, there was a full moon, or a new moon opposed Uranus and said, we don't want Uranus people around. We don't want, you know, in Hawaii, for shame. This turns out to be homeless people. There's refugees going on, you know, and it's just starting here. I'm on November. I mean, I'm way back here. I'm on the 9th of October. So I haven't seen what this is going to do, but I know it's further sacrifice of Uranus. I mean, taking all those homeless people out of Kaka'ako. Who is the hard-hearted buggers that cook all this up? And then they take all their belongings. It may look like a cardboard box to you, but it's a house. And there was other belongings, and they trash all their belongings. And they chased hundreds of families out of where they were. Homeless people were camped with the tent. You know, and this is wrong. But then Jupiter, see, is in a 150-degree angle, and it sacrificed Uranus. So here's the rich people, here's the business people, here's a bunch of Chamber of Commerce guys. Oh, we're going to make money. And they're going to, you know, they wrote a bunch of letters to the governor trying to stop the TMT protests of Hawaiians about the big telescope. It got permitted. We want law. That's what the forces of business want. Law, that's Saturn. Oh yeah, then we can operate. We can bribe the politicians. Pardon my cynicism. Okay, let's look at this pattern and see how it works out for you day by day. We're just going to follow the moon around the edge of it. And as the moon makes angles, tough angles are in red, the good ones are in blue. As the moon makes angles to these various planetary bodies, these people, these actors, you experience it. Especially if you're out in public. Here Friday morning, here's a square to Venus, stuck in I need some sweets. And then there's a square to Mars, comes up before lunch. Oh, I'm angry, ticked off. Finally, after lunch, there's a nice sextile to Mercury, and our trine to Mercury, and we start talking and moving and get things done better. And then the moon shifts into Cancer, and it changes. Now, Saturday is when the moon trines the sun and trines Neptune, and oh yeah, we all want to go with the privilege. The movie stars are right. Let's go with the movie stars. Let's go with the priests. Let's go with Dow and Monsanto and American Cyanamid and the kings and the people who are rich. That's probably Trump, huh? Anyway, everybody's out to celebrate and have fun and have a few beers and vote for me. So this is not a good thing. This can get you in a lot of trouble Saturday. And if you go play and you don't play right. Because Saturday night, here's the opposition to Pluto. Eek, a bug. Eek, a policeman. Happens 8, 9, 10 o'clock Saturday night. This is when policemen get hurt too. What do you mean you're going to stop the party? Well, early Sunday morning, here's Jupiter chiming in and saying, no, we want to party out. And screw the homeless people. Here's the square to Uranus. Now you feel kind of alone. So there's more seduction here to get into rebellious behavior Saturday night, Sunday morning. And what you want to do is wait until Sunday afternoon. Look at this. Here's the sextile to Mars and Venus. It's Sunday night. That's when you want to have your party. That's when you want to, do some romance, enjoy yourself, be social, be romantic. Mars and Venus are in harmony here. And it's going to be kind of hot, too. It's in Cancer. Venus likes Cancer. I mean, the moon. So anyway, Monday, well, the moon shifts into Leo, a fixed fire sign. The vibes all change again. I'm up and off to work. There's a nice trine to Saturn here after lunch, and you're getting organized and feeling businesslike. And hope you get home before the square to Mercury happens here Monday night, because it'll be tougher to drive and talk and communicate and get around Monday night. And you won't feel like doing too much Tuesday morning. There's a square to the sun. You'll lost your ambition a bit. But maybe that's okay, because here we got the trine to Uranus. And that's Tuesday afternoon and evening, and now, new revolutionary thought comes up, an enlightenment of the mind. Hey, it's, you could be homeless too, Is that any way to treat your brother or sister or your family? Oh well. Wednesday, the vibes continue. There's enlightenment and brotherhood flowing all over until you get to, dinner time, and moon shifts into Virgo. And here late, this is 2 a.m. in the morning, Thursday. There's a square to Saturn. We feel stuck and we don't like rules, regulations, and laws. So you're feeling a little stuck, moon in Virgo, when Thursday starts. Take a little extra time Thursday morning. Time you get to Thursday night, things are popping. The moon's going by, Jupiter, trining Pluto. We feel powerful. We want to play. We want to have fun. The heck with these other individuals. If you're not part of the group, go away. Well, scientists too. We don't believe in science. We're rich people. We don't believe in global warming. Friday's better. The moon's actually going to go by Venus and Mars here on Friday the 17th. And late Friday night, early Saturday morning, the moon goes by the North Node. And then, Saturday at noontime, it sextiles Saturn, and you can get organized about a lot of stuff and make some decisions here. It's a nice time. Excuse me, I wasn't watching the screen. So Saturday's kind of neat. Friday night's pretty neat too. It's pretty romantic and fun. And you're really organized here on Saturday with this sextile to Saturn. But you're in Libra now, Saturday the moon's going through Libra, a cardinal air sign, and you're going to hit that square again. Here it is Sunday. What did that policeman say? I'm not going to obey that. I watched some videos where people go through roadblocks and they don't open their window much. And they just say, am I detained? Am I free to go? And I won't answer any questions. And what do all those guys do? They're looking for aliens, they're looking for drugs, they're looking for anything at all. It's a roadblock. It's Nazi Germany again. Anyway, These guys put out the video and they teach you how to do that. And kind of in the middle of it all, lower your window down just a little bit. And somebody said, and wear sunglasses, because if you wear sunglasses, the spit can't get in your eyes. Wow, first time I ever heard that. Wow. Wow. Okay, anyway, tough Sunday, the 9th. Monday gets better, but not until the evening when the moon goes into Scorpio. I was quite taken with these pictures. I have a distinct love of animals. Over here, here's another couple cuties, a little dog and a little cat. And what is this anyway? Well, it came back from Oregon. I'm on the 9th, and on the 1st, Oregon legalized pot. And amazing things are coming out. And you know what this is? This is a veterinarian formulated addition to your dog or cat's diet that has pot that's high in CBDs. And, the animals, there's a lot about animals that need a little treatment, and this is a way to do it and make them happy again. And turns out it helps them with pain. They get pain relief, anti-seizure, anti-nauseous, anti-anxiety. Dog freaks out whenever you leave. You slip him one of these every day and he's a happy camper and he loses. So this is a big deal. And these guys are making treats. And they have testimonials here about people who've used it. After using vet CBD, she's much calmer and I can leave the house and stop urinating, all over the joint. And this is great. Here's another one. Since we got our dog Penny, she's part of the family. She's 13 years old now and she's happy, but back leg's starting to give out. They started using vet CBD, did wonders for the dog. Gave it a try, it worked great. Less difficulty getting around, she's running around happier now. They're struggling with my cat urinating outside the litter box. Well, it fixed it. Anyway, what a thing, huh? Wow. I mean, this is one of those wonderful spin-offs from Woodstock, isn't it? I have to laugh that nobody will use the word astrology. Oh no! So here's a couple new ones for you. Celestial knowledge. Oh boy. Of course, astronomy and mathematics, that's the common one. That was in the book of Hawaiian Kilos too. Only once did they use the word astrology. Of course, they all came out of the church stuff. Another one was in a Nostradamus movie where they quoted Nostradamus as saying, "How did you do this?" And he was supposedly said cyclical calculations from old Babylonian wisdom and books. Well, that's because, you did astrology when Nostradamus was there and they burned you at the stake. Okay, here's another whole subject for a minute. I'll talk about PTSD. What you're seeing if you watch this is first you saw a lot of PTSD in the military. And now remember, I have personal experience with this. I have a degree in psychology. I have a master's in public health. I studied epidemics. I'm a pro. And I got it. And I know when it hit Honolulu with the guys that came back from the war zones, carried it. They started going into the hospitals at night. And then 4 or 5 months later, it came over to Kona, and I saw young men get it over here. And then I got it because somebody coughed right in my face. Well, it took me a while, but I realized, that in order to get the PTSD virus, you have to get the other person's spit in your eyeball. Your eyeball is just a nerve cell that comes out of your brain and develops into an eyeball. And so it's a direct path to the brain. It gets by the blood-brain barrier, probably anyway. The virus has to, where do you do that? Where do you have people coughing and sneezing right in somebody's eyeball? Usually they're young men. That's why young men get PTSD. In the military, they crowd them right in there, and a lot of those guys don't have good manners. I can vouch for that. They don't have anything to cover up their cough or sneeze anyway, and you're sitting there in a foxhole with somebody, kabang! Remember the guy, the psychiatrist, the black psychiatrist that was interviewing PTSD guys came back, sitting across the desk from them. Was he wearing glasses? I don't know. Now what you're seeing is schools. That's the other place you see. It's the young men who don't have the manners and cough right in your snoot and don't know enough to cover up that get the spit in the eyes. So, that's why these guys said if you're interviewing a policeman, you don't just roll your window down a tiny bit even. Don't roll it down. If you do, you got to have sunglasses on, because if he coughs or spits, if he's got PTSD and gets into your eyes, you'll get it. Where else do you see all these young men crowded together? Football team lockers, football games, sports. So we see PTSD in the schools with the young men because of the way it's passed around. We see it in the military because of the way it's passed around. We see it in the sports thing. It's not the young women. They don't cough in each other's eyeballs. Trick is, wear your sunglasses when you're out there. If you're going to be exposed to people who might have the road rage, your sunglasses could keep you from getting it, and it is no fun to get. Gee, I got to find me a bowl. Right off, when I started thinking, I don't think it's wise to use a metal container, no. Look at the size of the thing he's using. Did they use, is it pottery? Do they have pottery now? I don't know that Hawaiians did pottery. They don't have the clays here for it or something. So it's wood. I'll bet you it's wood. And maybe I got to find me a nice big wood bowl. If you got any advice for me, give me a call, 322-3584. I started this years ago at Dow Chemical, the study of these vortexes. And I got a history. And I want to learn this. Strange how things happen. I just found this old file, and I had it labeled with history and volcano and quakes. I was looking for the 1858 mosh mosh, and when I get into it, what did I find there? Whole different thing. Set me off in a whole different direction. Fate intervenes. By the way, over on the far eastern point of the Big Island, according to these things I've been reading, there's a place where the kilos did there's a hill where they did their studies and they trained people and they did the predictions. Yeah, and over on that hill someplace or nearby it, there's standing stones where the sun hit them, and they allowed them to predict the equinoxes and lunations and eclipses. We have our own Stonehenge here, just that nobody's really looked at it yet. Man, once I'm back athletic again, I got to get over there. Synchronicity. So, where I left off with poor Richard was I figured out the time, the day's difference in the calendar, but I got stuck on the seven setting and rising of the 7 stars, and I thought it was the Pleiades, and it could be the Pleiades, but it turns out the Hawaiians, I just read it in that file, called the Big Dipper the 7. So it might be the Big Dipper that Ben was watching. I'm going to have to go back and do calculations and get into his place and fix up the sky and find out. I'll do it. A couple brief notes. Some study, British Medical Journal, said antidepressants causing the epidemic of violence. No, look, what's happening is these young people are getting PTSD, and they're taking antidepressants, to treat their PTSD. It's the PTSD that drives them into this crazy stuff. It's an example of misplaced logic, but we always go for the first cause. Here's the other one. This is how I started. Sugar does not make kids criminal. No, it doesn't. We discovered that in Woodstock. You give kids a little sugar. A lot of schools Preschools say, don't let your kid bring any sugar to school. Well, it's not the sugar. The cheap white kind. Sugar doesn't make kids criminal. It's not the refined sugar. What happens is, in order to burn the sugar, it takes B vitamins, a lot of them, and it'll take the B vitamins out of the kid's body, and when he gets B vitamin deficient, he has mental stress and he tends to get crazy. So it's not the sugar, it's the B vitamin deficiency, the immediate B vitamin deficiency that causes the criminal kind of behavior, not the sugar, see? It's the same thing as it's not antidepressants, it's the PTSD violent. Well, we live in a crazy world. They'll jump at the first thing, huh? Same thing on the road. The presence of alcohol or pot in a driver's body is not a crime. Somebody said, you're driving impaired. They're going to ramp up about pot now. Try to say, if you got pot in your body, you know, we're going to give you a ticket and treat you like an alcoholic and send you to school and screw up your life. But, you know, are they going to get away with that? Boy, I hope not. I had a shame list all set up for you folks. First was the Hawaiian politicians that rousted the homeless. Then the chambers of commerce dudes that are messing around in our mountain Hawaiian business. And then there's the university idiots that want to carry guns in the classrooms and offices. And finally the U.S.-Russian military. The Russians bombed Iran by accident. Of course, that's nothing compared to what we did. We bombed the Doctors Without Borders by accident, huh? Whoa. I found an old cartoon. You're up in an airplane dropping bombs. You're bombing houses and trains and stuff. Hurt somebody? I didn't see anybody get hurt. You're killing zillions, doing horrors, but you don't see it? Yeah. Here's the other side of it. An American CEO put more chemicals in the burger. You know, what? Hurt somebody? I didn't see that. That's what American society is all about. It's a bunch of people doing small hurts in ways you can't see, and they're not getting nailed, and there's no accountability. Especially these guys. Really, I mean, how about the Volkswagen guy who messed up our air with his computer program? Is he accountable? He's just going to lose his job. How about the general who bombed that Doctors Without Borders? Is he going to lose his job? Doubtful. We have been told by management we have to give these things 10 seconds apiece. Pooey. Public access rules say nobody can tell us what to put on our show. Well, this is just a commercial for the station. And this disclaimer sure isn't needed. What's going on here? More lunacy, huh?